In the next 24 hours, two events will happen. One, executive order for second stimulus checks and FPUC will not be closed. The president can do executive orders to extend FPUC either by new executive order or by extension of LWA or a new version of LWA at any time. He does not need legislative authority. He has the funds and he can do it. But the path to do it legislatively by act of Congress, that window could be closed in the next 24 hours. And as we sit here today, I want you to understand this math. That you were offered not you, Steve Mnuchin offered Nancy Pelosi $400 a week back in July. And now 10 weeks later, you would have had $4,000 in your pocket. 2 days ago, she came back again, rejecting $400 and memorializing the same offer, $600 a week, which he had rejected back in July. Within the next 24 hours, we will find out whether the legislative path to get you an extension of FPUC is dead, because Nancy Pelosi has gone consistently with the same mantra, the same bad number of $600, denying you $400 a week, $4,000 to now, and thousands of dollars to December of this year. But hope is not gone, because the next path will be focusing on executive orders. This is Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Afternoons LALATE in a big, shocking twist and turn of events today about the second stimulus package, the second stimulus check, and especially FPUC, extension of unemployment benefits, the hazard pay bill, all the questions you had about FPUC, LWA, all coming to a head. What developed today was the following issues. That Nancy Pelosi 2 days ago revealed once again her delusionalness of staying at $600 a week for FPUC 2.0 extension of benefits, enhanced unemployment benefits, a number that everyone has told her is bad since July. And all she did was memorialize the bad number once again. And later today, if not shortly before this broadcast airs, but after it's recorded, we will see whether Steve Mnuchin basically throws it back in her face again, saying, I offered you $400 a week, you rejected $400 a week, and I'm not going over $400 a week. This is amid the problem solvers offering $450 a week for 8 weeks, and then 5 weeks at approximately $600 a week. Again, another number that Nancy Pelosi rejected. All this adds up to a lot of money that you could have had, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that you would have had by now, and more thousands you would have had in the next couple of weeks that Nancy Pelosi instead rejected, potentially, because she wanted a big salary raise for her buddies in government. If there was a time to subscribe to this channel, it's today. Go to the Funniest channel, subscribe, with big shocking developments, with incredible details, and a community that really cares for one another. This is the Purple Power community. Subscribe and become part of this community. Also like this video, because this will be the most comprehensive video you're going to see today about enhanced unemployment benefits, UI, PUA, and all those incredible details. All right, let me get to the breaking developments today. The breaking developments today is the following, that there was a offer made by Steve Mnuchin in July, $400 a week, rejected for FPUC, retroactive back to the end of July, rejected by Nancy Pelosi. 10 weeks have passed. You would have had $4,000 per person in your pocket by now. Tuesday or Monday this week, actually it was Monday this week, Nancy Pelosi introduced a bill which did exactly what the prior bill had done that was rejected for the same reasons. $600 a week, a number that the president has said he would not approve, a number that the Senate has said they will not ratify, a number that most people say is actually too high, that it actually should be a little bit less, and she's refused to move on the number. Well, in refusing to not move with a number, it's not only cost you thousands of dollars, but she's tried to push for raises for the, Department of Parks, Department of Copyright, Department of Treasury, Department of Justice. Everyone's getting raised, but you're not even getting your darn $4,000. Well, Steve Mnuchin on this morning's broadcast, a CNBC Squawk Box, was asked by Becky Quick, can you agree upon anything? And he says, yes, we can agree upon enhanced unemployment benefits. Well, obviously, they can agree upon giving money, but we can't agree upon the number. And she said, well, what's been going on with the two of you for the last couple of days? He says, well, she's been talking, and I've been listening. AKA, he has not agreed to $600 a week. He says not. And so when he was asked by Becky Quick, well, what are you going to do? He says, parenthesis, I'm doing what LALATE's Purple Powers said to do. I'm supporting the Problem Solvers bill. It'll look basically like the Problem Solvers bill. Yes. For over a week, this channel has said, get behind the Problem Solvers bill with revisions and support the Problem Solvers bill. I told you at that time that the Problem Solvers bill of 8 weeks of $450 per week and then 5 weeks of $600, if I'm saying it right, is the highest offer that anyone in this group has ever done. I said the president and the Republicans have never gone above $400 a week. To say that they would support something that's $450 and then $600 is insane. Now, I also said that there was a problem with the Problem Solvers bill, that it was not retroactive. But let's make clear, no money versus some money that would start in about a week or two from now is very good. I mean, you have been cut out of $4,000 to $5,000 because of Nancy Pelosi from July to now. We got that. But how about what happens in about a week or two from now in mid-early October when the Problem Solvers bill was to start being effective? Well, Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to give you that. Steve Mnuchin does want to give you that at a lot of money. $450 every week and then $600 every week thereafter, all the way through the end of the winter season to December 31st. Well, Steve Mnuchin told Becky Quick that this morning we're going to do the Problem Solvers bill. It will be a bipartisan supported bill that we will give as a counter offer to Nancy Pelosi. The question is what's going to happen. Well, there's two things that could happen. She can reject it. She can accept it. And then we could all focus on executive orders. I want you to understand that there's two paths today. And one path closes by potentially the end of today. And the other path remains open all the way through the election. The one that remains open is executive orders. To get you FPUC by executive order of the president, to get you stimulus checks by executive order of the president, that is not impacted by the events of today. What is impacted by the events of today is getting something done by Congress. When Mnuchin said that he was going to do the Problem Solvers bill on CNBC, that was in the morning. But a few hours later, Mitch McConnell was reached out to press and said, well, what's going to happen with the Senate? Will the Senate support anything like this? And he basically said no. The question is, what part of it was a no? Becky Quick specifically asked Steve Mnuchin, do you have any support from the Republicans? Do you have any support from the Senate to even get anything approved? And his answer was evasive. He gave no answer. He said, I reached out to Mitch and I reach out to Kevin McCarthy all the time. When we talk about it, I tell her what Pelosi's offer is. But first, I got to get a deal with Pelosi, which is fine. I mean, he basically saying, I don't have a deal with Pelosi, so why would I go to the mat with Mitch? Because I don't have a deal with Pelosi yet. Now, understand Mitch and Mnuchin don't really see eye to eye. It's very well documented on this channel. There have been a lot of fights between these people. There's been a lot of fights between the president, Mitch McConnell. But Mnuchin did say that his offer that's coming today will encompass everything that Mitch had in his bill of 2 weeks ago, the $1 trillion bill, but it'll have more in it than that. So, what could happen? Well, there's two possibilities. One, you get nothing legislatively by the end of today. Two, we focus on you get something by the end of today, and then searching whether the Senate is going to pass it. Or three, that we default to executive orders. It's important to understand that the proposal that Mnuchin has in it is not just FPUC. And I think this is a little confusing because it was confusing to me when I heard it. And I want to make it sort of clear to the extent I can for you. Mnuchin says that his proposal will not just have enhanced unemployment benefits in there, but also work retention credit and also back to work credit. I heard that. I'm like, is that the Portman plan? I'm like, I feel like I'm 200 years old now. Remember when I used to cover the Portman plan on this channel and the Murphy plan? There was that plan that said we're going to give you $400 a week to get back to work for 4 weeks. And then the Bradley plan was, hey, we're just going to give you a big lump sum right away to get back to work. Now, it's not $10,000, but it equated to almost the value of a stimulus check to get back to work. We're going to give you a check to get back to work because we don't think that you have enough money. You're not getting paid enough money to get back to work because hours are cut and hours are reduced. This is incredibly good because I have a lot of viewers of this channel who are a mixture of people who were unemployed and now are employed, or people who are employed but are becoming unemployed. I have a mixture of both, and by having that additional provision that Mnuchin's referencing, you potentially could get 2 benefits. You could get 2 checks. Let me explain to you what he's talking about. Let's say you were because I have this scenario with a lot of viewers. Let's say you were unemployed from March to August, which I have for a lot of viewers. But then in September, things started to open up, and you got a job offer, and you took the job offer. I made it very clear to you that you can go get unemployment benefits for what was impacted to what you endured from March to when you got rehired. You can get FPUC from March to July. You can get LWA from late July up to the present if your state applied for LWA and all those things. But once you're employed, you don't get any benefits. What Mnuchin is seeming to suggest is that you could possibly also get a check for going back to work. Now, this is incredibly great news. But let's turn to executive orders, because ultimately I want us to remain focused and understood. Executive orders could be done by 2 different ways. First, the president could use the existing executive order for LWA, or 2, the president could use a new executive order for LWA. Let me explain what's going on. The president already has an executive order on the books for LWA. I got it that a lot of you don't like it. You don't like it because of that $100 provision in there. It disqualifies you. Some states have tried to work around it. If he stayed with that existing order, all he would have to do is repurpose existing money to a federal agency that would be the underwriter for LWA. That's how he did it with FEMA. He identified existing funds that were at FEMA that were unused and said that would be for LWA. He called up FEMA out of the scope of the conversation, out of the scope of cameras, or someone in his team did, and said, FEMA, we're going to do LWA, and you're going to be underwriter for the agency. I'm identifying this money, and it's going to be repurposed for this purpose. We never saw any of these discussions between Trump and FEMA, or whoever did it with FEMA. It was just done. It was done incredibly quietly. He can do that again. And where he's most likely to do it is with all roads end at the Scarf Lady. He could do it with Jovita Carranza. Oh, yeah. Just lovely. I'm not wearing a scarf in 90-degree September weather, so just get it. Don't get it twisted. He has a lot of money. The president sitting at Jovita's office, underneath the scarves, that can be repurposed for enhanced unemployment benefits, and she would send it out. How would she send it out? I get that question all the time. They work together. They find your information. Basically, the way that FEMA did it was very inventive. They said the states to apply to FEMA, which I love that. And that's how FEMA knew how. FEMA didn't send it to you directly. They had the states apply, and then they gave the money to the states and said, states, you send it out. Absolutely brilliant idea. They can do it again this way. The second way he can do it by executive order is he can create a new executive order, get rid of that $100 threshold, and do a new executive order and say, hey, here we go, and away we go. There's a couple things I want you to understand when we talk about those 2 possibilities for executive orders. They're incredibly great. The LWA executive order says that it would run through December. That's exactly what the Problem Solvers Bill is. It's benefits through December. What's actually better is that the executive order does not start in October like the Problem Solvers Bill is. The executive order just starts when it was written. So, as you understand, LWA ran out after about 6 weeks, whereas the Problem Solvers start up about at week 8 or week 9. So you miss a few weeks between the LWA and the problem solvers. The president could just simply say, okay, we're continuing LWA, we're going to pick up where we left off, and states could just start paying LWA at week 7. Yeah, at week 7, if he repurposes the money. This is a very simple thing that I'm describing to you. It's very, very, very basic. You know, he just identifies the money. He tells the agency, you're the one that's going to underwrite it, and away we go. And the state and the agency says, hey, states, come apply for your money, come and get it, and this will be your week 7 for LWA, and we'll just go from there. Very, 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 very simple. It's a lot more simple than dealing with the Temple of Doom. So as we sit here today, what should we think and where should our focus be? Well, there is going to be a good and a bad in all of this. And I do see your comments that the bad may be, it's not, you know, poor, I guess we'd say. It's not bad, is that you may ultimately get FPUC 2.0 but not retroactive. Or you may get LWA but not retroactive. I hope that you don't miss a week. But there's a potential you could miss a week or a few weeks when any of these things come to fruition, if they do. So that is the first thing to understand. The second thing to understand is that money is better than no money. And at the moment, after that 6 weeks of LWA, unless you're in Florida, where I guess you got 3 weeks, you're not getting any more. And so someone needs to start giving you money. And if someone gives you money at $400 a week, then $300 a week or whatever it becomes, it's better than no money, because at this point, the legislative path to get you money will close with no deal potentially by the end of today. A lot of twists and a lot of turns, and I got that it's very strange and very complex. But this is what happens in an election year in which things are so contentious, and a year in which things simply are just going off the rails. With things like retention receipts and things like PPP up for grab and things like back to work credits. Everything is all very, very confusing. But we remain focused and we remain dedicated. So there's 3 points of pressure. 1, staying behind the problem solver, saying get this to a vote. Blue Dogs, get this to a vote. New Democrat Coalition, get this to a vote. We have a 24-hour real push, I guess, legislative, you would say, behind that to getting it to a vote. We have a second 24-hour push against people who are trying to support Pelosi's 2.2 bad bill. And so that seats for stimulus. And we have to say, don't vote for this. Don't vote for this. If you're a Democrat and you vote for that bad $2.2 trillion bill, which is going to basically, you know, end everything, there'll be no legislative approval for that, then I'm going to vote you out. When you go home for the fall, you know, you go home for, you know, to get yourself reelected, I'm going to make sure you don't come back. So just, you know, book a one-way trip. Don't just book a one-way plane flight on the airlines that are, you know, going bankrupt. That's what that push will be. The third push will be for the president. And that push won't end today. And that will be, give us our executive order. Give us our executive order. Give us our FPUC. Give us our LWA. Give us our stimulus checks. Give us our hazard pay. We're not, that push does not end today. It does not end tomorrow. It does not end this weekend. And everything is changing by the hour. It really, really is. I got to tell you that this is a strange campaign for president, and this is a very strange campaign for the House and the Senate. No one's seat is secure. No one is away from being thrown out of office. Races that were very far apart are very close. Races are flipping in polls. And so a lot of things can change in a matter of a couple days. You saw what happened last night. I'm sure you're wondering what my opinions were about last night's debate, and I'm sure you're wondering what my opinions are about Mnuchin's offer that's pending by the time I'm recording, but maybe not by the time that this video goes live. A lot of things. So that's why I want you to stay with me. Coming up next is rent and all that as well. And then this evenings at LALATE will have a lot of developments. I expect that Mnuchin's offer should be out by then. As always, go to the Finance channel, subscribe. subscribe because no one looks out for you as much as this channel. I really go over and above to get what you need on a regular basis. There's a reason why I didn't do comments on today's video, because the comments would be to yesterday's situation, and the situation is dramatically different than yesterday. So that's why I did not go in for any comments in today's video. Also, like this video, because this is the most comprehensive video I'll have today on unemployment. Coming up next is rent. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and save LA for more.